Hello, everyone. I am George from Pageant Empress, and I have a very special guest with me. He is Man of the World 2023 first runner-up, Henry Wong, all the way from Hong Kong, but at the moment he's in the UK. So I just wanted to talk to him because all of us, the pageant fans, were very impressed with his answers, especially your accent. It was super charismatic. So I had to interview you. So first of all, thank you for agreeing to do the interview with me. And how are you? How's everything going on?
Thank you for having me, George. Everything in the UK is going well. Family's happy for me in Hong Kong and the UK. Beyond belief with the results, to be honest. And yeah, sunny in the UK at the moment. Can't complain.
Introduction about yourself. So just your name, your age, your background. It could be education background and your occupation for the people who may not know much about you.
My name is Henry Wong. I was born and bred in the UK. My family came over when they were young, about 15, 16. Me and my brother initially grew up on the east side of London, and then we slowly moved towards the northeast side, the Midlands of the UK, working as a chiropractor, like a personal ID card in Hong Kong, which is for permanent residency and to be able to work within Hong Kong. And I got a license as a chiropractor in Hong Kong as well. So every so often I have to go back so I could keep that to visit also the other side of the family.
Listening to your answer, you have an English accent, and a lot of people were charmed by your answer. So I was actually very fascinated to know your life story. I think we share very similar upbringing because I was born in Hong Kong and I went to London when I was 12. I think we share very similar experience, even though I grew up mostly in London, not really in the Midlands. So I find it really interesting, your upbringing.
We certainly do have a very similar upbringing, which is good. I mean, it's good to have like that more than one kind of culture, right?
Yes.
Because it can be a bit confusing when you're growing up. Adds character to yourself, having more than one culture, because a lot of countries in Asia, based on the TV they watch, they often have more of an American-based accent. Yes. So it's nice to have a bit of a change.
Yes. What are the three words to describe yourself? So 3 words to describe Henry.
I would like to think that I'm quite disciplined and I'm very supportive to the ones I feel strongly in terms of if they are quite important to my life, friends or family, or even juniors in my field, etc. I want them to be able to achieve the best they could. Not a perfectionist, but rather I'd like to do my best at everything I do, because I hate to have the feeling of regret. I were not to do something, and that feeling of regret is probably the worst feeling ever. So I really don't like to not give everything a go.
What made you decide to join the Man of the World beauty pageant? Was this your first pageant? And if yes, what made you decide to join this particular beauty pageant?
This was my first pageant, yes. When I grew up, we were watching Mr. Hong Kong every year, quite religiously. I mean, I told my parents I would want to step on stage one day. They laughed and you won't do that. It almost felt like, I kind of want to prove them wrong, right? At the end of my university year in 2017, I applied to the Mr. Hong Kong pageant, but unfortunately the last casting was 2016. I got in contact with Frederick Ip, which is the Hong Kong National Director. We kept in contact. So every year we'd exchange emails. Towards the end of 2022, he messaged me. He was like, Henry, would you like to take up on this opportunity? I know I wasn't getting any younger, so I thought if I don't do it now, I'm going to regret. I'm going to regret.
So talking about male pageants, who is your favorite male pageant king and why?
Last year's Mr. Hong Kong International. Super charismatic. He's got tall. He's got his dimples and everything. Yeah, I was like, man, this guy's like probably the best Hong Kong candidate Hong Kong has ever brought up. I really admire him.
So you mentioned that you're currently working as a chiropractor, right? In the UK. Yes. So what made you decide to go through this background?
When I was 16 years old, from playing badminton, I injured some of my discs, the cartilage in my lower back. And at the time, I wasn't able to play at all and had to be very careful, even if I were to walk. And I was kind of apprehensive as to wanting to do anything physical. I actually visited my uncle. He told me about chiropractic. He helped me with regards to my disc injury. And I was super surprised. I was like, well, wow, this might be something that I want to do. So I diverted from wanting to be an accountant, a master's in chiropractic, and I loved it since.
How did you prepare yourself for this particular international pageant? You said this is your very first beauty pageant, right? So how did you prepare for Man of the World?
Because this is my first pageant, I actually didn't know what to do. So I consulted Google and YouTube about how to prepare, or how to do the walk. And I watched the whole Man of the World last year's series, so I can see what to expect during the pageantry. Use most of my time, my free time, to practice. It could be posing, it could be walks, and mostly in the bathroom in my hotel, sharing the room with another candidate. And I didn't want to disturb it to practice in a bathroom with a YouTube video open. So not the most conventional way of getting ready.
You managed to get the first runner-up position. So all the hard work you put into it and all the dedication. Yeah, you sounded really genuine. And I can tell that you were saying from your heart. It was very heartfelt and it sounded really authentic. So for me, I really liked the answer. And I'm sure there were a lot of people, because in my TikTok, oh my God, there are so many comments about like, Henry, like you're like such a big fan club in TikTok. What is your motto in your life, Henry?
I really believe strongly in discipline as opposed to motivation. If you are motivated to do something in the short term, you might get a short burst of hard work as such. But if you're disciplined to your work or something that you really like to do, that tends to last longer. And I'd say more permanent, not to also have any regrets in life. You only really live what life wants. So if you were to grow older, looking back, not being able to do certain things, that feeling is horrendous. I never would like to have that feeling.
How do you keep yourself disciplined and keep moving forward in your life?
A habit builds over 14 days. So it's a lot of repetition. If it's something that truly means a lot to you, work, fitness, could be anything, you tend to want to keep doing the same thing. And that's where discipline really comes. It's not failing to do the tasks that matter to you. Get dressed, it's the same, right? It's part of your own habit. When you get to that point where you skip doing those tasks, like let's say you don't go to the gym, you would feel uncomfortable. So discipline, I would say, is built through repetition and passion.
Who is the most influential person in your life, and why is that person so influential or inspirational to you?
Mostly my mum. She has been supportive since I was young. She made sure that I had a wide range of skill sets since I was young. She would take me to learn how to play piano. She'd take me to tuition, making sure my maths, my English, my science, all of these sort of school topics are all good, because my mother tongue was Cantonese. When I was younger, I wasn't able to actually speak English as well. My mum really did care a lot about that. I made sure that through tutoring and through one-to-one study sessions with her, I was able to speak better, because during that period in the UK, in London, there were a lot of possibly bullying. But when you're a minority in an area, you tend to be picked on. And my mum never wanted me to get picked on.
And I'm sure she's very proud of you, because my next question to you is regarding what has been your proudest achievement in your life so far?
To complete my master's in chiropractic course, because course was so hard. It was so hard, George. Sleepless nights, countless days of just studying. When I got my certificate, when I got the degree, I was just relieved. I was like, I can finally work now. I don't need to go through exams as often anymore. And since I've started working, really good to be able to give back to my family. So every month I would send some money back, particularly to mum. And it feels nice, it feels nice. Maybe it's part of Asian culture. When you start earning money, I'd like to be able to provide for them, even if it's just a little bit.
How long was the course? Because you did masters, right? So how long was that actual course?
The course was 4 years. 4 years. It's a lot longer in Canada and in the US, approximately 8 years, I believe. But so a lot of it is condensed in the UK.
What is your future ambition after Man of the World, which just completed about a few days ago? So your future ambition after the pageant?
I would like to get the word out there about chiropractic more. And I genuinely would like people to know how to look after their health, mainly postural related muscles and joints. There's been too many jobs now where you have to work from home, especially since COVID. And it can be quite damaging, particularly in the long term, if you don't look after yourself. Any other opportunities through the Hong Kong side, etc., might be good to reevaluate.
Hopefully another pageant, maybe, I don't know, because we would love to see you win a title, like an international title. You seem really stylish. You seem well dressed, I have to say. So do you have any style icon or style inspiration who inspire you? So it could be any personal style, any celebrities inspire you?
So my stylist was my designer. His name is Ryan Chris, and his two lovely helpers, DJ and Myra. They were the ones who were in charge of the fashion side with the Man of the World pageant, and I'm extremely grateful to them to be able to select the ones that they felt were necessary, and I sort of went on a pick and choose process. I went with mostly what they recommended. In terms of fashion, I really admire Korean side of fashion, particularly while I was during the pageant, while everyone was wearing something similar, formal wear, for example, and then we see Mr. Korea wearing something different. We would our eyes were just fixed on him, right? But wow, Jim, what's going on here? So it's really nice to be different.
Green velvet, and for me that was the moment I thought, okay, I think it's going to be Korea and Hong Kong as the last is standing, and it was exactly that. I predicted you two as the top list because I really liked the way you presented yourself. You look like a Prince Charming, straight out of like a Disney movie. So you look really handsome. As you have successfully placed as a first runner-up at the Man of the World 2023, which is actually the highest placement for a Hong Kong delegate at a male pageant. So do you have any plans maybe in the future to join any other male pageants? If yes, which one?
We'll probably wait and see whether there are any other opportunities presented through the director in Hong Kong. I'd probably just go through him, pick and choose rather.
What is one thing that we would not know about Henry just by looking at you? So do you have any special talent, hobby, or interest that we will not know about you?
I do regularly play badminton every week. When I'm stressed, I do go to the gym or play the piano at home. Always like to put 100% effort with whatever I do, I guess. It gets to a point where it's hard to delegate time to people who matter to me.
You seem like a really well-traveled person. Based on your social media, you have been to different cities, different countries. So which is your favorite place you have visited so far? And why is it your favorite place?
Favorite place would possibly be Japan, mainly because of the culture there. And the people are just super, super nice and well-mannered, very considerate too. So these are the things that I really look for, and it just makes extremely welcoming.
If you could give your younger self one piece of advice, what would it be?
You'd always want to be in a common pact, right? When people are doing one thing, I want to do that. But if you have your own opinion on wanting to do something, always go for it. Because if you don't and you regret doing that, that feeling will stay forever. I'd never want to experience that again.
What has been your favorite moment from Man of the World 2023, which was held in Philippines?
It was honestly an amazing process and journey, getting to know everyone. Literally, we'd wake up together, we'd have breakfast together, we'd rehearse together, we'd have fun together after each competition, we'd celebrate together. We were literally like brothers, and the staff members would join in as well. It's like a big family. That is the moment where I thought, wow, I made the right choice. Like, regardless of the placements or winnings, or it's not something that you can physically achieve. This is more emotional connection. You've got to go through a journey with someone or a group of people to be experiencing this.
I remember seeing the photos posted by Man of the World on the Instagram and social media, where you guys had to say farewells to the other contestants, and I saw some of the guys were like shedding some tears. It was very emotional, and I can imagine just spending time with technically strangers because you have never met them before, but becoming friends and building that friendship. I think that's a really good memory. The contestants who competed in the Man of the World. If you could have any superpowers, Henry, what superpower would it be and why?
I like to do a lot of things fast and efficiently. If I can teleport from place to place, I can do that. Yeah, so to be more efficient, teleporting or flying would be good.
What is the most important life lesson you have learned in your life so far?
When you get to a point where you're happy with where you are in life, there's always people who are bigger and stronger, more settled. To not sitting in your comfort zone, it's always good to step out of your box, to venture out. Otherwise, life will be too boring if it's too repetitive in a way.
According to you, Henry, how relevant do you think beauty pageants are in today's world? Do you think they are still relevant? What do you think?
There's a lot of people supporting pageants, particularly if you have certain beliefs and as a candidate, you are the idol to the audience. It's extremely important that they hear what you have to say. They tend to want to believe and also have to say you would likely to be influencing the audience as well. So in my opinion, yes, they're still very relevant and very influential.
Why do you think representation is important in media, especially, let's say, Hollywood movies? We are seeing a lot of Asians, like Michelle Yeoh. She just won Best Actress in Oscar. So why do you think representation is so important in media?
Representation is important in the media. For example, in the Asian community, we aren't as popular. Aside from the action, the fighting, like kung fu movies, we aren't really popular in other kinds of roles, like rom-com, the thrillers. To be able to represent this kind of minority, if you succeed in that, it gives confidence to the world, really. You can achieve these things, but minorities could also do the same.
I think it's very important, especially if you grew up in the Western countries where you don't really see a lot of people who look like you, especially Asian faces. It's very rare. Like, I did not really see much in the TV, especially in the UK. So I had to watch like Asian, like Korean drama or Japanese drama to just see people who I can connect to, because it was very rare, especially in like I said, Western countries. In the end, do you have any message that you like to give to your viewers of this interview or your supporters who have been helping you on your journey towards Man of the World? So any message you'd like to give?
First and foremost, thank you to everyone who stood by my side and the rest of the candidates' side and the pageants, really. My message really would be, if it's something that you've always wanted to do, a dream or a goal, don't be afraid to do so, because the feeling of regret is a lot harsher than losing or not doing well. Keep working hard. Keep disciplined. That would be my message.
That was my interview with Mr. Henry Wong, who is the first runner-up of Man of the World 2023 from Hong Kong. And I had a great time talking to you, just to get to know much more about you, your background, and hopefully we get to see you once again in an international pageant very soon. Fingers crossed. So saying that, guys, if you like this interview, make sure to click the like button, subscribe to this channel, and also follow him on his social media, which you guys can see here on the screen.
Please follow Pageant Empress as well. Without people like George advocating about pageantry, the interest within pageants isn't going to be as good as it is now. So thank you, George, for having me, and thank you for being such a great sport in this industry. Thank you.
So you can follow him on his social media and just leave a nice comment below just to cheer him, and hopefully we see him once again. So saying that, I hope you have a great day, a great night wherever you are, and see you once again.